The total lockdown in Kano continues while there will be an extension of the first phase of easing the lockdown in the Federal Capital Territory, Lagos and Ogun states. The Presidential Task Force on Covid-19 is also counting the gains achieved in the fight against the pandemic as they redouble efforts to enforce the new stage of the extension. Senior correspondent Femi Akonde reports.
2 weeks added to the first phase of the gradual and phased easing of the lockdown. But there was significant progress recorded in the first phase, despite obvious enforcement bottlenecks and other compliance issues. This decision is the outcome of recommendations made to the President by the task force saddled with the responsibility of coordinating the national response plan. Again, there will be intensified efforts to alleviate socio-economic difficulties caused by this extension.
The level of compliance has been reviewed and a specific directive has been issued to the security agencies to carry out strict enforcement of all measures. This includes the nationwide curfew between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m., the ban on interstate travels, and the wearing of face masks and coverings in public places. The security agents are, however, urged to be mindful of the human rights of citizens, while citizens are equally urged to encourage and recognize the dangers posed to self, their loved ones, and the entire community if they fail to take responsibility.
After recording the highest figure in one day, health authorities are closing the gaps in testing, tracing, isolating, and treatment of confirmed cases. Statistics from the Center of Disease Control indicates that Lagos, Kano, and Borno accounts for 52% of the COVID-related deaths in the country. The biggest worry for the Presidential Task Force will be transitioning from a lockdown to a safe reopening.
But how do we restart our economies safely? How do we move from the narrative of a lockdown to a narrative of a safe reopening so that people can go back to their livelihoods while still staying safe as possible from this virus? How do we do that in the farms? How do we do that in the markets? How do we do that in the schools? How do we do that in transport? How do we do that in aviation? And really, this has to be our focus in the next few weeks.
At the daily media briefing, the Minister of Foreign Affairs announced a significant breakthrough achieved in providing welfare for evacuees. He disclosed that the Central Bank of Nigeria and Nigeria's oil company, NNPC, will now pick the welfare bills of returnees in mandatory isolation. This must indeed be a relief after the government was hit with a barrage of attacks, criticizing its insistence that evacuees must pay for their hotel accommodation and feeding.
We found ourselves in a situation where either we stopped evacuations for lack of funding, but we knew that there were so many people who were desperate to get back, or we passed on the costs to the evacuees. But what I did say was that I would spare no effort in trying to source for funding from whatever source we could find it.
In the coming days, the operational guidelines for the extended phase of the lockdown will be released, but government continues to escalate health advisories on precautionary measures to stay safe and flatten the curve of transmission. Femi Akonde, TVC News.